Yo, how you doing? What's up, Retro? Abdullah. What's up, brother? How's my week? My week was good, man. Can't ever complain. Blessed. Let a few more people get in here, we'll get it going. I might actually post on Twitter and Instagram. All right. What's up? Charmaine, what's up? Good morning. Just posting the link real quick. We'll get it going. Right. Just started watching your YouTube video. Fire. Appreciate it. Thank you, man. Hello, what's up, man? How we doing? Hello, where did you say you're from? How was it? Sweden? No, it wasn't Sweden. It was Belgium? Was it Belgium? I hope everybody's having a good day, man. Emil, what's up, brother? How's everybody doing? Was it Belgium or am I remembering that wrong? Can you please make a short on higher time frame inversion to lower time frame entry with stop loss? I don't use inversions on the higher time frame. Actually, I use fair value gaps, and I use, the creation of fair value gaps to see the change in order flow shifts. But I really have only been using inversions on the lower time frame, because honestly, I believe that the entry function really doesn't matter. I think what matters is having a high probability draw and narrative as like the framework, or the backbone of the entire trade idea, and then just making sure that your entry makes sense as an invalidation. And obviously you need good risk reward. I prefer to have 2 risk to reward on every winner, meaning double. Yeah, I'm about to show my screen. I got you. I was just letting some people get in here while we chat. We'll throw the charts on now though, and we'll look at the economic calendar. I'm just gonna make a post on Twitter really fast. But sorry, hold on. I think that draw and narrative is the backbone of a good high probability trade. And I think that the entry function is more insignificant than people realize. The entry function that you choose, it's not gonna make you profitable. That's the reality. I don't know where you're hearing from other people, but I can tell you with 100% certainty and you can fact check me if you want to go back test it. The entry models are not what moves the needle. You know, they're cool. It's cool to, you know, try different entries, but what really is going to move the needle is being able to understand the current draw, having a narrative, meaning understanding from the top down where price should move from, and then looking for your entries in those areas. Yeah, I can break that down more in a video, but so I've been using inversions. I use fair value gaps. That's really been the main two entries. And when I see a higher probability narrative and it feels clear to me where price is going, that's when I know it's my time to trade and I just want to get involved. And I can be transparent about that and tell you guys, you know, that was something that I had to learn through time, in my own experiences through trading. You know, I used to be the type of person that was demanding one entry function and never getting involved in trade ideas. It could be, you know, the most high probability narrative and draw ever, but because I needed my specific exact entry, I just wasn't getting in. So interesting, something to think about. Like I can expand on that. There was a specific period of time where I was only trading unicorns, and it's like, yeah, unicorns are great. It's a great way to get involved with price, and it's a good signature to see on the lower time frame. But if price is setting up an A+ narrative and it's clearly going somewhere, and you know with high conviction it's reaching for this area, your job should just be to get involved in a way that makes sense. That was a big thing that took me time to learn. But yeah, that's my rant. So let's look at the economic calendar. But yeah, if you're going to take anything away from that rant, just the biggest thing that's going to move the needle for you is understanding where price is drawing to and framing high probability narratives. So from the top down, for me, that means understanding where price is offering fair value and where it's seeking liquidity. It's understanding order flow and where the you know, alignments are pointing, because every time frame is a compass to the ones that are above it. So without all that being said, this is the economic calendar for the following week. Let me just adjust my chair really quick. Yeah, so Monday we have Swiss franc red folder. Canadian dollar has a bank holiday, as seen by the white, right? The white folder news. Tuesday we have USD PMI and New Zealand dollar red folder. Wednesday has absolutely no news across the board. Thursday has British pound and US dollar unemployment claims, and then Friday has Canadian dollar. So as someone that mainly you know, trades USD correlated assets, I'm more focused personally on the USD and what dollar is doing this week and when it has news. So Monday we have nothing on US dollar. Tuesday we have our red folder. Wednesday we have nothing on anything. Thursday we have red folder on US dollar. And then Friday, so it's a little bit spaced out. And I always like to say the economic calendar and red folder is a good indication of when we're going to have volatility and when price is going to have energy, but it's not a end all be all, and it's not a guarantee. I will trade on days without news, but price needs to prove to me that it wants to move. Price needs to prove to me that it has a clear draw, a clear narrative. Otherwise, I'm just not trading. So knowing when to press the gas and knowing when to let off the gas is going to move the needle. I promise. That's a very, very important thing to understand. A lot of trading isn't like it's more so about having the skill set and then capitalizing at the right times. Every month is not going to be beautiful, picture perfect price action. The last 2 weeks, the last couple months, honestly, of summer PA has been trash, but then the last 2 sessions have been great. The Thursday and Friday sessions were beautiful on indices. So being able to identify that, very important. And that only comes with chart time. Hello from Kenya. Your strategy is awesome. I have a question. When price reaches a higher time frame gap and disrespect, should I wait for an opposing fair value gap then enter? Or can I use an inversion? You can use inversions, or you can wait for the opposing gap going to the same way. That is very much just preference. And it kind of ties back to directly what I was just saying about You really just need a higher time frame draw. You need a clear draw, and you need a high probability narrative. And then whether you want to use inversions to get involved on the lower time frame, or you just want to use fair value gaps, or what I call an order flow flip, when we create a fair value gap out of the gap or the liquidity. That's just your, personal opinion, and it's subjective. Whatever you feel like anecdotally is best. Or you could go in and crunch numbers and see what your data is saying is the best. But I use both. Because the price respects, it means that it should go to the lower time frame and look for... Right, exactly. If price is respecting the gap, you're going to see it on the lower time frame earlier, essentially. You're going to see the order flow flip on the lower time frame, and then you can either choose to get involved on the inversion that gets created, which is probably a little bit less confirmation, but a better risk to reward style entry, or you can wait for the fair value gap that forms, whichever is your preference. How many times does the setup come weekly if I use the dealing range from daily? You need, it depends on, if you're only using the daily, maybe 2-3 week, the frequency of a model is obviously going to vary. Like, I'll have weeks where I have a ton of trades, and I'll have weeks where I take way less trades. The frequency, it's not really something that just is consistent every single week. So if you're leaning more on the higher time frame, your frequency is inherently going to be less. All right, let's look at bonds. I'm going to mark out the previous candles. We obviously have a new month that just started, so we're going to have a monthly candle closure on the monthly time frame. So every single instrument that I'm looking at, we're going to factor in that new monthly candle information. This is a previous month high, previous month low. You can just see based on this monthly candle that we are bullish, right? Open, low, high, close. We have a bullish monthly candle. And as of right now, we're disrespecting this weekly bearish fair value gap, closing above. Lower time frame order flow is going to be bullish, pointing higher. So we're looking at these highs as a draw. This buy side up here. Daily gaps are respecting. Daily order flow is bullish, right? The lower time frames are pointing higher. If we look at the 4-hour, you can see this is our area of fair value, where if we're going to go higher, we should do so from here. This bullish gap, this overlapping high, that is ideally where you want to see price respect and go higher towards this buy side. So we can either see, for longs, we either see a sting into this and we respect that and just print right higher, or we see a deep sting into the area of fair value, this overlapping high, and go higher. But bonds look bullish to me pretty clearly. Do day trading or scalp? Lately, I've been leaning on more higher frequency trading, and scalping, because of the last, like I said, the last couple of months of price action in the summer have been a ton of consolidation, right? A ton of slow, choppy, rangy price action. And so when we have that type of market condition, my models that focus on expansion and fair value gaps are few and far between. And so I was focused way more on trading externals and major liquidity areas, previous session highs and lows, major daily highs and lows, 4-hour highs and lows, and looking for little pieces of those moves. I can go really in depth and talk about why that works, but the reality is the given market condition that we were presented with, just that is where the edge is. That's what I was focused more on. So it was more like scalpy liquidity reaction type stuff. And you have to be able to adapt and identify what market we're in. You changed my life. I was really losing until I found your video about fair value and liquidity. That's awesome, dude. I love that. Those are like the best messages. I love that that video can really make an impact like that. Fair value and liquidity is key, man. Fair value and liquidity is basically the foundation of everything for me, because you can use discount premium, you can use whatever other logic you want to subscribe to, but in my opinion, fair value and liquidity is the simplest, and it's just as effective, if not more. A lot of times people are caught waiting for a premium up here when the area for value is down here. We don't need to go and dig into that deep premium to go lower. That used to be me as well. All right. So we can see on the monthly, like I said, we have a new monthly candle. 26 days, 6 hours. I think on, let's see. Yeah, 26 days, 4 hours. So we have a whole new, almost an entire month of a candle to form. We can go ahead and mark out previous month high and low right here. We swept previous month high on dollar. And then when we're looking at this range, we have the 2 bearish gaps on the monthly up here. But you can see by this bearish monthly open, high, low, close candle that's forming, we may just want to go and reach for this sell side down here. And so we need to be reactive to the current state of order flow on the lower time frames. Yeah, this is an interesting spot because we have the weekly gap right here that we actually respected and printed higher from. So this weekly context actually played towards this external up here. But then we wicked that right here, and we can see that we're kind of just consolidating now on the weekly, which is not ideal. That huge wick is likely going to be the 4 hour and daily flipping. Yep, so you can see here on the daily, we're starting to create a potential inversion. We're starting to create potential bearish daily for value gaps. This is a pretty interesting spot for me on dollar. What I would be asking myself and trying to figure out is, do we want to reach for these monthly lows down here, this external of this range, or do we want to go reach for this gap? Because right now, if this daily order flow holds and remains bearish, I'm looking for these lows. Right, so this is how I'm using the order flow, and I'm using the gaps as a compass to show the intention of price. So assuming that we actually follow through with bearish order flow on the daily, I'm looking for the lows down here on dollar, a bearish dollar. That being said, we do still have this bullish gap as well as these overlapping highs. And I need to keep an eye on that and see that we actually invalidate this area and begin to, follow through lower for me to look to target these lows. So I'd actually be waiting. This would be a waitlisted, part of the watch list right now. Same, now I have a sharper eye. I see things much easier. That really helps in terms of patience and following the model. Massive thanks. I got you, bro. Appreciate the kind words. I think knowing exactly what you're looking for is a big part of being patient. Obviously there's discipline to it. You need to be a disciplined person. You need to have that self-respect for yourself to say, okay, this is my model, this is what I'm looking for, and I'm disciplined and I'm going to do it. But if you don't know your model, if you don't know what it looks like and what you're looking for, how can you wait for it? Some people don't know what they're looking for. They don't have the chart time and reps to know exactly what they need to see. And I would argue that's more of the root to why they can't wait for it than actually the discipline. So kind of depends on where you're at. But because I know exactly what I'm looking for, it makes it much easier for me to submit to that and wait for it. I wrote a external is sweet when the context aligns. Practice more and back test. What's up, Bradley? How do I get to be a top fan? I don't know. I actually have no idea. Is it just chats? I haven't looked into this. Okay, I just looked it up. Okay. Top fans in XP. What's the leaderboard? A place for fans to stand out in the community. Top 3 special badges in live chat. Resets every stream. Okay, so I guess it's just whoever is the most active in the stream. I guess it resets every time. It looks like Blessed Rose is in the #1 spot right now with the most messages. But yeah, so I would have dollar on the wait list, and I'm waiting to see the direction of this daily range. Do we actually begin to invalidate this, disrespect it? If that's the case, and we fall through with bearish 4 hour, 1 hour order flow, I'm looking for these lows right down here. And then I'm looking for ultimately those monthly external lows. Conversely, if we respect the internal, we flip on the 1 hour and we actually follow through higher. In the short term, I'll be targeting these highs, and I'll be looking for a reach into this monthly internal. Based on this, reaction though, we could be flipping here, and this is interesting because then we'll have a bearish dollar. So need more information right now. I need to see what we do from the internal of this range right here, this area for value. Pretty interesting consolidation. I need to see what happens here and where we fall through. Gotta go. We all listen to this guy. He's legit. Appreciate it, Bradley, man. Hit me up. I haven't talked to you in a little bit, bro. I hope you're doing well. Appreciate the love, bro. You're my part. You're part of inspiration. So I started weekly outlook. Oh, nice. Yeah, just stay consistent with it. So yeah, we'll see how this 4 hour falls through, and we will see how we react from this area in here. Interesting spot for dollar. You guys know what I always say, right? When dollar is on the wait list, it becomes much more difficult to get a feel for euro, the majors, and because you're kind of just waiting for that direction and clarity. We can see on indices, right? These markets are made to go up. We have a new monthly internal, a monthly bullish for value gap down here that I'm looking for us to want to reach for based on this reaction lower, right? We flipped order flow on the lower time frames. Technically not the lower time frames, but you know, in comparison to the monthly, the 4 hour and daily are lower. So these time frames are flipping bearish, indicating we're reaching for this monthly internal. Right? So do you see how the lower time frames act as a compass for the ones above it? I'm looking for a retracement into here, and then we're going to see whether we respect this internal or not. I would favor a respect of it just because of that bullish monthly order flow, right? We want to submit to that monthly trend, that higher time frame uptrend. S&P, NASDAQ, the US markets, these indices are made to go up, guys. They're made to go up. Historically, over time, they always go up, as seen by the uptrend on the monthly, right? So we want to submit to that monthly order flow in favor that this internal gets respected, and then we trade higher back towards all-time highs, and we'll have a nice monthly internal to external. Check GIF Nifty. I got you. I'll do it later. I got you. I've seen when price doesn't come to the 1 hour gap, especially on gold and exotic prices, there entry mode. Right, exactly, Chris. That was something that I had to work through as well. Demanding perfect entry functions, right? There's multiple ways you can get involved, and I think when the narrative and draw is high probability, and when you know you have a high probability trade idea that you're forming, you just need to get involved in a way that makes sense. So if we don't come back and test the 1 hour gap, there's nothing wrong with just getting in. Let me see if I can find a good example. Let's say your idea is to long. Obviously, this is just, I'm randomly picking a spot on the chart, just random, no context, no actual trade idea. But let's just say your idea is to long to these highs. Whatever, just to this internal. We're clearly showing momentum, and we're not looking to retest this gap. So you can just get in on this candle if the risk to reward makes sense. Right? If your target up here, like for me, I want to see I can get 2R to wherever this target is. There's no real target on this. I'm just throwing out a random spot. But let's say there's my target. Ideally for me, how I trade, I want to get double the reward that I'm risking all the time, because it gives my win rate room to breathe. I don't need to rely on my win rate as much when I'm winning double every time. You only need to win 34% of the time, right? So I ideally want to get 2R within this range. So wherever your entry in here, if it allows 2R, you don't need to demand this retest to the gap. You can just get in where it makes sense. I don't know how to, like, it's tough to explain that. But all that matters is expected value, right? A positive expectancy. So the trades need to make sense. But the most important thing is just having a high probability trade idea. All right. So yeah, we have the weekly internal as well down here. That's what I was looking for previously. But now that we've created this monthly gap, that's going to take higher precedence for me. And I want to see a sting into this monthly before potentially continuing higher. Once we sting into the monthly, we'll be gauging that 4 hour and daily order flow to flip and shift bullish. And then longs will be on the menu. And ideally, if we can get a clean delivery, we'll have this nice monthly context to just operate on for longs back towards all-time highs. But we need to react to that and see what happens here. So some type of retracement to continue lower makes sense to me. We just swept a big daily low. So let's see if we want to retrace into these 4-hour internals at all to continue lower towards the monthly. That could check out and make sense. Or we could just consolidate on Monday, create a new daily gap to head lower off of towards the monthly gap. Both of those ideas make sense to me. So short term, very short term, I'm bearish on indices, and then I'm expecting some type of flip in order flow in respect to the monthly internal, and then I'll be bullish. But in the very short term, I'm looking for lower on indices still. I want to see these gaps get hit on the internal. Weekly and monthly bullish gaps hovering below. The daily is flipping. We have this next third candle forming where we can set up that daily gap like I just mentioned. We also have the 4-hour internals. It's the exact same analysis on NASDAQ. Everything I said on the S&P, you can apply to the NASDAQ currently. Dow is already in the gap, which is interesting. Dun, 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 dun. We need to see order flow change to print longs on Dow. It's probably just going to mess around and hold up until indices catch up. Right now they're playing catch up towards the monthly gap, in my opinion. But we're not going to see, in my opinion, Dow flip bullish really with any significance until ES and NQ kind of catch up on their retracement. Ideally, that's what I'd like to see at least. Outer circle trading. What's up, bro? Ahmad, what's up, brother? Weekly. Yeah, we just need to see that order flow change once indices and NASDAQ hit the internal and flip. Pretty much same thing across the board. I would expect Russell and Dow to kind of consolidate and wait around there until ES and NQ do their thing. Choppy Euro USD, we have to wait on more information from dollar to get a feel. So it's going to be hard to get a clear direction on Euro USD and any of these majors right now, honestly, because I'm just waiting for more information throughout the week on dollar. As we play out, once it becomes more apparent which direction dollar is drawing to, then we can apply that to the majors and look to trade them as well. Consolidation on the weekly, not following through higher from this internal. Daily internal being tested now, right here. Four-hour internal playing as well. Right on that retracement to the daily gap. So really need to see what dollar's doing to get a feel. Pretty much all these majors for me will just be waitlisted until I'm feeling clear on where dollar is drawing to. Again, so do we begin to reach for these sell side lows and then validate this area here? Or do we respect this area here and trade higher? That's what I need to gauge. Either a retracement to the monthly gap or a run towards liquidity on the external of that monthly range. And until that's clear, it's going to be hard for me to get a feel for any of the majors. Obviously, we can look at the order flow and see what it's saying in the short term, but did this tag the gap? 1.31400. 1.314115. It missed by like 15. And daily internal, do we want to respect this and trade lower towards the external? Could potentially do that to sting lower into the monthly internal. That does make sense to me, considering we haven't hit it yet. But again, wait list, contingent on dollar's direction. So majors are going to be more tricky and really just all wait listed. Essentially, you need more information. AU and NU have just been doing this slow grind consolidation, just engineering all this. Daily internal as well, respecting. Looking at these lows. Eventually don't want to be taken out. 1 hour likely flipped on that wick. We'll see if we follow through or not. Not a very favorable 1 hour look there. We'll see. It looks like this 1 hour didn't really flip or create any gaps with significance. We're not respecting it, so we'll see. Straight chop. Ugly, ugly, ugly stuff here. Really gross PA here on the weekly. Sweeping these sell side lows on the weekly. Reaching for this daily internal as well. Then we need to gauge that reaction and also have an understanding of where dollar is drawing to before we even look to trade these. So if dollar is unclear, all the majors are going to be unclear in the short term. I'm not trading majors unless I have a clear idea of what dollar is doing. Monthly internal resting up here. Sell side lows down here in that monthly range. We also have these lows we can go ahead and mark out. Weekly internal test is respecting. The 4 hours flipping bearish. I mean, that's a pretty nice signature. We have all these engineered lows on that slow grind up. And then a nice impulse move lower. Decent signature. We're beginning to flip this gap as well. Interesting, interesting. If we get bearish dollar, USD CAD could be nice for lower. Swiss franc. Monthly internal test. Could get a nice monthly internal to external context here on USD Swiss franc. Weekly, more of a consolidation as we stung higher into that monthly internal. Daily is flipping as well. I like these. These look good. These look decent. But again, you need bearish dollar on your side here. You need a bearish dollar. So if you get a bearish dollar, these could play nice for shorts. I like the way this is flipping with intention here. Actually, much better. I like that. Yen as well looks like it's going to be decent. We didn't tag the internal gap. We're getting a strong bearish reaction here. Daily's flipping. Yeah, nice moves to lower here. Need to see dollar. Could be potential shorts on those. Euro pound. Swept the monthly high. Continuing to grind higher now. Not the cleanest stuff here. I don't like trading these cross. Euro, pound, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. I don't like trading those crosses. I use them for relative strength and weakness and just adding, confluence to my trade ideas. Weekly internal. Didn't get tagged, but we are wicking significantly higher here. 4 hour order flow flip bullish. There's not much to pull from this though. AUD NZD. Lows, lows, lows. Getting a nice decent push higher here. Do we have a weekly internal? We do, and it's currently being respected by price. We have this area here of fair value as well. So we may just want to respect this and trade higher towards this external here. Straight chop though. I mean, look at the daily. Look at these daily ranges. Terrible daily ranges. Not something you'd want to get involved in. Crude oil. We do have the monthly internal. Weekly pretty sloppy. That is the monthly internal, I believe. We'll move that. Daily might be flipping here. Need to see how we react here. This looks like a pretty strong daily close through, which you don't like to see for longs. If we flip this and continue lower and we actually fall through lower, you can look to target this internal here. But we need to see some more. Ideally a nice follow through lower here still. So you want to see this 4-hour bearish order flow hold for shorts. If this follows through and holds lower, looking for a draw towards that monthly internal down there that we just talked about. Could be decent. Gold is kind of printing right now. Let's see. Consolidating around all-time highs. Typical all-time high accumulation type stuff. Daily. Starting to push quite higher here. Trading above this internal gap. Don't love trading this chop. We do get a nice push here on the 4-hour. Some overlapping highs that we can potentially head higher from. If we do follow through with bullish 4-hour order flow and we continue to respect discount arrays, you can look to target the buy side up here. I'd lean more bullish on gold right now. Monthly internal down here. Do we want to reach for that? Interesting. Okay, silver looks more bearish to me. Monthly internal down there. The weekly is closing below this internal gap. That looks more bearish to me. Interesting. I don't like that discrepancy. I don't like how they're telling me mixed signals. Daily is also bearish as well with internal. So this might want to play and print lower towards external. Yeah, silver looks bearish to me. Interesting. With the monthly internal resting right there. We may want to go reach for that before continuing higher. Interesting stuff. Bitcoin. Only monthly gap is right here. Already expanded off this internal. Weekly internal as well being tagged. Right, this area of fair value. Do we want to expand higher off that and go reach for these next all-time highs? Well, ideally we want to see the 4-hour fall through with bullish order flow and then validate this daily bearish gap that we could fall through lower from. So if we're going to print higher here and look for that weekly external, you ideally want to see this close above before longs. You want to see a 4-hour bullish order flow hold. Closes above that high. And longs might be on the menu here, but swings like that, I would usually like more confirmation. Close above that. Sell side sweep. No monthly gap. Weekly. In the weekly internal. Could potentially retrace this and then want to go look for new highs. Bitcoin and Ethereum look bullish to me. Daily internal. Yeah, ideally want to see these flip the daily internal gaps if we're going to go higher, and then you can look for longs. I passed phase 1 of my funded account. Thanks to you, I'm left with the second phase. Let's go. Lock in, bro. Lock in. You got it. Don't get emotional and stay detached. Execute the model when it's there. Manage the risk and just stay locked in. Focus on what you can control. Okay, Gifty, Nifty. Nifty. I don't know which one it is. NSE. Monthly, not the cleanest. Weekly. Internal up here didn't get tagged. Nifty. This one. Sure. Okay, the internal did get tagged on this data feed. We already took these lows. Interesting. New lows are down here. Nothing on the monthly really to pull. Daily is straight consolidation, right? So these ranges are just sweeping externals constantly. Lots of consolidation here. Choppy price action. We do have this daily gap resting up here, but don't think we want to reach for this right now. You're just really operating out of consolidation. So in these type of scenarios, when the asset is straight chop, your best friend is really just the previous day highs and lows, and then targeting them based on the lower time frame order flow. So what is the 15-minute? What is the 1 hour reaching for? Getting a bias from that, and then looking to target previous day high or low. Yeah, I mean, this isn't the cleanest. Just really rangy price action here. No 4 hour gaps. Nothing's falling through. You wouldn't expect these internals, these gaps, to hold and follow through on price action because we're in this daily consolidation, right? So not all gaps are made equal. This is a perfect example of where you don't want to favor these fair value gaps because of that daily chop. So until you see a really strong move out of this daily range, you're kind of suspect of fair value gaps, if that makes sense. Like, fair value gaps would be suspect to you, expecting them not to follow through because we're in that daily extended consolidation. I'd just be looking at previous day highs and lows to get a feel for where price is drawing to on a daily basis. If we do follow through lower through these lows, you can look for the next sell side draw down here. Definitely looks more bearish. You can trust 15-minute order flow will tell you in the short term where price is reaching for. So it's a good intraday trading type of order flow to lean on. $15-minute and 1 hour, those intraday kind of narrative builders. But I mean, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions or anything you want me to run through, I'm happy to do it real quick. Interesting stuff on indices. I want to see the monthly internal again, like I talked about. So I'd like to see the monthly gaps get hit. I'll be short term bearish, short biased Monday, maybe Tuesday, depending on if we reach my objective. And then from there, I'm gauging that 1 hour, 4 hour daily order flow to see if we respect the monthly internal. But because these markets are made to go up and they're uptrending, right? Monthly bullish order flow and uptrend, you want to submit to that. Say, okay, I'm favoring this as just a retracement to then continue higher towards all-time highs. If we fail the monthly internal and we don't respect it and reach for all-time highs, then you have to readjust. But until then, you're favoring and you're submitting to that higher time frame trend and order flow. Yeah, indices look pretty clear to me too. I agree. I'm not gonna lie, bro. If I said this on Twitter, if the last 2 sessions are indicative of the rest of the month, August might be a good month. You know, don't quote me on it. I'm not saying that it's guaranteed. I'm just saying if the last 2 sessions are any indication of the rest of this month, there should be good volatility and it could be a good month. Because we've had straight dog, terrible, trash price action for quite some time now. I mean, look at this. Trading through all this, and we got a nice little push up, and then we just got all of this. I mean, that's months of every single one of these is a day of just straight chop. So now we're seeing a little bit of an expansion here. More volatility has come into the markets, and if that is any indication of the rest of the month, should be clean, but we will see. Right, it's been very choppy for quite some time, and you have to adjust. I was leaning on previous day highs and lows here and more lower time frame scalps and leaning more on the lower time frame, because if you're leaning on the higher time frame in these conditions and you're only trading indices, you're just never going to take trades and you're never going to, have anything present itself. You have to adjust. Because we're in a consolidation and because we're rangy, the externals are going to play way more. They're going to play better because we're doing this. So that's where I've been putting the majority of my focus through this chop. So that's a very important thing to understand, is being able to adapt to the current market conditions and identify when that style of trading has edge and when it doesn't. You know, when we are running all-time highs and we're expanding and creating these crazy volatile moves with fair value gaps, that's when I want to lean more on trading internals, you know, the harmony style stuff where I'm looking for an internal tag and SMT, and I'm, you know, leaning more on the internals to frame my trade ideas, because we're going like this. But when we're doing the exact opposite of that on the higher time frame, when we're trading like this, the externals are where your focus wants to be, because those are higher probability narratives, right? These are going to play way better than trying to trade the internals on the lower time frame that are just constantly failing because we're in a higher time frame range. So that is very, very important to understand. What I just said right here, that's an absolute gem. That's very important to understand. Majority of people don't get it at all. They do not understand that idea. But write that down. Write that down. It's important. Really important stuff there. A little gem. But yeah, be able to adapt, be able to identify what type of market condition you're in, when you have the most edge with that style of trading and when you don't. If dollar becomes clear Monday or Tuesday, all the majors will too. This could be a good week month. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if the last two sessions are any indication, it should be good, but we'll see. Obviously, that can change very quickly and we can just go right back into a consolidation. So we shall see. But yeah, hopefully dollar clears up early in the week and then majors look a lot more primed. I do like shorts if we get bearish dollar. Shorts on these guys, USD, Canadian dollar, Swiss franc, and yen could be really nice. But you do want to be focused on the weakest of the three and whatever is offering the highest probability trade idea. But again, that's only entirely contingent on if dollar is bearish. And right here, it's a bit 50-50 for me. We have bearish monthly order flow. We have the monthly internal up here, though. Then we have the weekly bullish gap respecting, kind of just sweeping these highs in here, and then the daily is flipping again. So interesting spot. A bit 50-50 for me. We'll be waiting for more information on that. I'm gonna actually take this body. Boom. But that's pretty much it, man. If you guys aren't in the free Discord, I'm going to drop the link right now. If you want to claim a free trial to the Academy and, you know, watch me live trade and go through my full course and stuff that I literally break down all this crazy in depth. There's hours of videos in there. You can do a free trial, tradingpatiently.com. And if not, that's fine. I have the Discord completely free. So this is the link to the free Discord if you're not already in it. I'm assuming most of you are, if not all. Probably coming from there, but that's the link to the free Discord. And then if you want to claim a free trial and be an Academy member, you know, direct access to me, analysis, live trading, and then the course, this is the link for that. I'm honestly planning on dropping the price of it. I want to make it more accessible, so I'm thinking of dropping the price from $149 to $99, make it more accessible for everyone. So those are the links. Top one's free Discord, bottom one's for the Academy members, premium stuff. Important thing is that you're applying yourself every single day. Learning every single day. Journaling every single day. I've literally put, let me see if I can find it real quick. I've literally put examples of my journals in the Discord. Let me see if I can find it for you guys. If you're not diving extremely deep into your trades, into the nuances, into your emotions, and you're not tracking quantitative and qualitative data, you're just doing yourself a disservice, and your learning curve and your journey to profitability is just going to be longer as a consequence. Let me see if I can find my journal. Send a bunch of screenshots of my recent stuff. Okay, right here. This is just a delve into the free Discord. Bro, can you share a way of journaling and collecting data with trade example? So this is an example of my journal, right? I do it through Notion. I also use TradeZella, but the heavy lifting is done through Notion. I just feel like it's more intuitive and I can tweak it and stuff. So I have like the little quantitative stuff, the year, so it tracks the R, tracks the session. I also have, this is what I call the session protocol. So I like to identify whether we're expanding on the session, right? If it's New York AM, I want to feel for if we're expanding or consolidating. So that's a protocol. If we're in a consolidation, we're expecting externals to, be respected in range. If we're in an expansion, we're expecting internals to be respected and continue to expand. So what the protocol is, and then the narrative I'm using to trade. So in this trade, I use a 4-hour higher low, a 4-hour, area of liquidity, and then an inversion for the entry type and the entry time frame. Then down here, I have all the other stuff. I put screenshots of it. So are you within New York kill zone? Was there a red folder? I screenshot the news. Is there a clear draw? I screenshot whatever the draw was, the idea for bias and draw on the trade. What liquidity did you use? I screenshot the exact area that I used to build the narrative, the 4-hour high and low. Has your entry formed? I screenshot the entry before and after, right? So when I enter, I screenshot it, and then after the entry is the trade's fully played, I do that. What are the nuances? All of the intricate details, was there SMT? Was ES or NQ weaker? Was there opposing PD arrays? Was there news? All of these things matter. Have you predetermined your risk? What was the risk? And then what is the expected value? This is obviously just a estimation, but that's an example of how I journal. Very detailed, very in-depth, right? Some examples of the nuances. And then this is something I adapted from Lance Breitstein, so shout out to him. It's a daily report card. So literally every day I'll look at this and I'll say, all right, what did I do well? What's my goal for the day? What are my aphorisms and reminders? What trades did I take? Right, I do these every day. That's something from Lance Breitstein. This just makes sure that every day you're getting better. If you're not doing these things, you're just cheating yourself. And I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be blunt and honest with you. If you're not doing these things, you just don't deserve it. It's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it and everyone would be doing this for a living. If you're not doing it, you're cheating yourself and you're not working hard enough. Keeping a stack. Nice, real, blunt and honest with you guys. So I hope to see you guys in the Discord. Like I said, the links are there for the free Discord and the Academy if you want to check them out. And I appreciate you guys tuning in, man. I hope you got some value from the stream today and rooting for everyone. So let's keep getting better every single day in all aspects. I'm trying to be the best person I can be outside the charts too. I have a lot of stuff I want to work on and we all do. So let's get it. Appreciate you guys, man.